Crash course on Spain. Why did Spanish Empire decline? Spain is a country located in southwestern Europe, famous for its rich culture, stunning landscapes, and unique history. The country is known for its contributions to art, literature, music, and sports. Spain has a long and complex history, spanning thousands of years. In this crash course, we will take a brief look at Spain's history, culture, and society. History of Spain. Spain has a long and rich history that can be traced back to prehistoric times. It has been influenced by a variety of cultures, including the Celts, Romans, Moors, and Visigoths. The country's most notable period in history is the Spanish Empire, which was one of the most powerful and influential empires in the world during the 16th and 17th centuries. The empire was known for its colonization of the Americas and its vast wealth from silver and gold mining. However, Spain's power and influence began to decline in the 18th century due to several factors, including economic stagnation, political instability, and military defeat. The country lost many of its colonies in the Americas, and the Napoleonic Wars further weakened the empire. Spain experienced a period of political turmoil in the 19th and 20th centuries, including civil war and dictatorship under General Francisco Franco. Culture and society in Spain. Spain is known for its rich culture, including its art, music, literature, and food. The country has produced many famous artists, such as Pablo Picasso, Salvador Dali, and Francisco Goya. Spanish music is diverse and includes flamenco, classical, and pop music. Spanish literature has a long and impressive history, including famous authors such as Miguel de Cervantes, Federico Garcia Lorca, and Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Spain is also known for its food and drink, including paella, tapas, and sangria. The country is famous for its wine, and the Rioja region is one of the most well-known wine-producing areas in the world. Why did the Spanish Empire decline? The decline of the Spanish Empire can be attributed to several factors. One of the most significant factors was economic stagnation. Spain relied heavily on its colonies in the Americas for wealth, and when these colonies began to gain independence in the 19th century, Spain's economy suffered. The country also suffered from a lack of investment in infrastructure and technology, which left it behind other European countries in terms of industrialization. Another factor was political instability. Spain experienced many changes in government, including several periods of dictatorship, which caused instability and unrest. This instability led to a lack of trust in the government and hindered the country's ability to make progress. Military defeat was another contributing factor to the decline of the Spanish Empire. The country suffered several military defeats, including the loss of its colonies in the Americas, the defeat by the United States in the Spanish-American War, and its defeat by France in the Napoleonic Wars. Interesting stories or examples. Spain has a rich history filled with interesting stories and examples. One example is the story of the famous artist, Pablo Picasso. Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain, in 1881, and is considered one of the most influential artists of the 20th century. His work is known for its unique style and is admired all over the world. Another interesting story is the story of the Spanish Armada. In 1588, King Philip II of Spain sent an armada of ships to invade England. However, the English fleet, under the leadership of Sir Francis Drake, defeated the Spanish Armada, which marked the beginning of the decline of the Spanish Empire. One more fascinating story is the story of the Camino de Santiago. The Camino de Santiago is a pilgrimage route that ends in the city of Santiago de Compostela in northwestern Spain. It is one of the oldest and most famous pilgrimage routes in the world and has been traveled by millions of people over the centuries. The route is believed to have been established in the 9th century and is associated with the Apostle Saint James, whose remains are said to be buried in the city of Santiago de Compostela. The Camino de Santiago is not only a religious pilgrimage but also a cultural and historical journey. It passes through some of Spain's most beautiful landscapes and historic towns, including the Pyrenees Mountains, the Rioja wine region, and the medieval city of Burgos. The route is also known for its diverse and vibrant community of pilgrims from all over the world. who come together to share stories, experiences, and cultural traditions. In conclusion, Spain is a country with a rich and complex history, vibrant culture, and stunning landscapes. The decline of the Spanish Empire was a result of various factors, including economic stagnation, political instability, and military defeat. However, the country has continued to thrive and make significant contributions to art, literature, music, and sports. From the story of Picasso to the Camino de Santiago, Spain has a wealth of interesting stories and examples that continue to excite and inspire people from all over the world. List of the Spanish Empire. The Spanish Empire was one of the most significant empires in history, spanning several centuries and encompassing vast territories across the globe. The following is a list of countries and regions that were under the Spanish Empire at some point in its history, along with a brief description of each. 1. Spain, the motherland of the Spanish Empire, where the monarchy and central government were based. 2. Mexico, one of the most important colonies of the Spanish Empire. Mexico was the site of extensive colonization and mining operations, and its capital, Mexico City, was the center of colonial administration for much of Central America. 3. Peru, another important colony. Peru was known for its vast silver mines and was also the site of the Inca civilization, which the Spanish conquered and destroyed. 4. Philippines. The Philippines were colonized by the Spanish in the 16th century and remained a Spanish colony until the late 19th century. 5. Cuba. Cuba was an important sugar-producing colony, and its capital, Havana, was a major port for trade between Europe and the Americas. 6. Puerto Rico, a Spanish colony in the Caribbean. Puerto Rico was an important port for Spanish trade and served as a military outpost. 7. Florida. The Spanish established a colony in Florida in the 16th century, which lasted until the 18th century when it was ceded to Britain. 8. Guam, a Pacific island that was colonized by the Spanish in the 17th century and remained a Spanish possession until the late 19th century. 9. Canary Islands. The Canary Islands were an important stopover for Spanish ships traveling to and from the Americas, and they were also a source of sugar and wine. 10. Morocco. Spain had a significant presence in Morocco for much of the 19th and 20th centuries, including the enclaves of Ceuta and Melilla. 11. Equatorial Guinea, a former Spanish colony in Africa. Equatorial Guinea gained independence in 1968. 12. Western Sahara, a disputed territory in North Africa that was a Spanish colony until 1975. 13. Chile, a colony of Spain for over 300 years. Chile gained independence in the early 19th century. 14. Argentina, a Spanish colony for over 300 years, Argentina gained independence in the early 19th century. 15. Venezuela, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Venezuela was an important source of cocoa and other agricultural products. 16. Colombia, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Colombia was an important source of gold and silver. 17. Ecuador, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Ecuador was an important source of agricultural products. 18. Bolivia, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Bolivia was an important source of silver. 19. Paraguay, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Paraguay was an important source of agricultural products. 20. Uruguay, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Uruguay was an important source of livestock and agricultural products. 21. Costa Rica, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Costa Rica was an important source of coffee and other agricultural products. 22. El Salvador, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, El Salvador was an important source of indigo and other agricultural products. 23. Guatemala, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Guatemala was an important source of agricultural products, including coffee and bananas. 24. Honduras, a Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Honduras was an important source of agricultural products, including coffee and bananas. 25. Nicaragua. A Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Nicaragua was an important source of gold and other. 26. Panama. A Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Panama was an important transit point for Spanish ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. 27. Dominican Republic. A Spanish colony until the 19th century, the Dominican Republic was an important source of sugar and other agricultural products. 28. Guatemala. A Spanish colony until the early 19th century, Guatemala was an important source of agricultural products, including coffee and bananas. 29. Belize, a British colony until 1798, when it was briefly captured by the Spanish, Belize was an important source of mahogany and other tropical hardwoods. 30. Louisiana. Spain briefly controlled Louisiana in the late 18th century before ceding it to France, which later sold it to the United States. 31. Northern Africa. Spain had a significant presence in North Africa for much of the 19th and 20th centuries, including the enclaves of Ceuta and Melilla. 32. Netherlands. The Spanish Habsburgs ruled the Netherlands for much of the 16th and 17th centuries, during which time they attempted to suppress the Protestant Reformation. 33. Portugal. Spain and Portugal were united under the same monarch for much of the 16th and 17th centuries, but Portugal regained its independence in the 17th century. 34. Italy. Spain had a significant presence in Italy for much of the 16th and 17th centuries, including the Kingdom of Naples and the Duchy of Milan. 35. France. Spain briefly controlled parts of France in the 16th and 17th centuries, including the Duchy of Burgundy and parts of the Pyrenees Mountains. 36. Germany. The Spanish Habsburgs had significant influence in the Holy Roman Empire during the 16th and 17th centuries. 37. Austria. Spain and Austria were ruled by the same Habsburg dynasty for much of the 16th and 17th centuries. 38. Belgium. Belgium was part of the Spanish Netherlands during much of the 16th and 17th centuries. 39. Luxembourg. Luxembourg was part of the Spanish Netherlands during much of the 16th and 17th centuries. 40. England. Spain and England were bitter rivals in the 16th and 17th centuries, with Spain attempting to invade England in 1588. 41. Ireland. Spain briefly sent troops to Ireland in the late 16th century to support Irish rebels against English rule. 42. United States. Spain briefly controlled parts of what is now the United States, including Florida, Louisiana, and parts of the Southwest. 43. Philippines. The Philippines were colonized by the Spanish in the 16th century and remained a Spanish colony until the late 19th century. Overall, the Spanish Empire had a massive impact on world history and culture, leaving behind a legacy that is still felt today in many parts of the world. Its colonialism and exploitation of resources, however, also had devastating effects on many of the regions and peoples it controlled. Today, Spain is a diverse and culturally rich country that continues to make significant contributions to the world in areas such as art, literature, music, and sports. Here is a poem on the Spanish Empire. From Castile's shores to the distant seas, the Spanish Empire's reach did seize. A world of wealth, of power and might, conquered with sword, with faith, with right. From the Andes peaks to the Aztec lands, they claimed it all with greedy hands. Gold and silver, emeralds rare, all were taken without a care. The Incas' realm, the Mayans' home, their cultures crushed, their people alone. Beneath the cross, they were forced to kneel, their gods forgotten, their fate sealed. But from this empire came great art, a renaissance that set apart painters, writers, musicians too, whose works still shine, still ring so true. Velázquez, Cervantes, El Greco's light, their genius still in full sight. And Spain's language, a world renowned, their words still spoken, their culture found. So let us remember this legacy grand. the Spanish Empire, across the land. Its faults and glories, all combined. A history for us all to find. ******. Start planning your next global adventure with ease and convenience with our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html $8 = 79893335 as a great choice to plan your next trip. You can find and book flights, hotels, cars, and local attractions all in one place, and their price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Thank you for kind support our AnHub Metaverse channel, and please watch more interesting videos here.